How's it going? So, here's the situation. You have a... Well, I'll explain you how to do it. You create React clone element, you clone the children, and then you pass property through here. I link docs in the description below. The docs are horrendous, so I'm gonna have to explain it manually again. So you see, let's say we have reusable parent that has children in it. So child can be absolutely anything. So how do you pass properties from the parent into the child? Because you don't know what the child is. Right? So our use case was we want to have a close button which was inside the parent, and all of our children were like this. So how do you pass a close button from here into the children to here? Okay, so I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna do it step by step, but I'm just telling you how to do it. It's you clone the children, you pass the props through here, and then the children will be able to see it. You see? Child can see the prop of the parent. And this is the structure. Okay? So again, what you do is you clone the element. You can actually do it easier in here. One sec. I'll just do it this way. Props, and then just props children. There you go. Okay, so now let me delete all of this, and then we go step by step. Again, I will link docs in the description below, and then we can and GitHub as well. Okay, so we're starting. We just have completely random app. Okay. So we call this, I don't know, let's say just h1 element. Call this main app title. Well, let me not go into this all bullshit, right? Let me just explain to you straight up what needs to be done. So we create a reusable parent. Just create a component anywhere. And let me just move it into components. Screw it, I'll just do it straight from the beginning. Okay, so I'll have folder components. So we create, call it reusable parent.tsx. So if you're doing in JavaScript, you can do it. JavaScript makes no difference. I'm just create a file. Okay. So now we call this h1. We call this reusable parent. All right. Reusable parent. And then we put children in here. So props children like this. So naturally we want to import this guy. Copy components like this, import from, it's probably gonna be like this, components, reusable parent, there it is. Okay, so reusable parent is like this. It's like a wrapper component, right? So let's say we have title of the parent. No, children title. What is it saying? It has no children properties. Oh, that's because complaining about TypeScript. You will not, if you're doing JavaScript, you will not have this problem. Okay, so well, let's remove the title. So we have only children. Okay. So now what do we have? We have parent component, and it's displaying children. Well, let me just remove this. Well, I'm assuming that you have, because this is some advanced level stuff. I'm assuming you understand how children works, right? So naturally we have the parent component, and it's displaying the children. So these are the children, and it's displaying it in here. Okay, so next is we're gonna add a child, which is a child component. I call it comp, like for component. TSX and TSRef. I just have this thing that automatically creates components. So. Okay, so now we put the child in here like this. Components probably like this. So now instead of displaying this thing, we're gonna put a, well, let's just keep it and just put child in here like this. What is it complaining about? Export default. Oh, that's because I forgot to save. Okay. Okay. So now these are all children. Okay. So now here's the problem. This component is a child of this guy here. So how do we get, let's say, I don't know, let's do const sum prop equals prop any, it's just TypeScript stuff, any value. So let's say there is some kind of a property that you want to pass into this child, which is in here, and you think to yourself, oh my god, how do you actually do it? And you cannot insert this child into here because this component is a wrapper component, so a child could be practically anything, right? So how do you pass the property to any child where, how do you pass property in here? That's the question. So the way to do that is we do const cloned children. This can be named anything. I'm just gonna call it, I don't know, a full clone. Okay, call it anything you want. So this is any equals react clone element. You see this function here. So the first argument is what do you want to clone. So we are cloning props children. So we are cloning this part here. The second argument is the properties you want to pass. So the property is gonna be my prop 1, and then we want to put, again, you can call it whatever you want. I just called it my prop 1. You can call it whatever the hell you want. Okay, now we take the cloned element and we pass it into the children. Whoops, wrong one. So now these properties will be visible to child component in here. Okay. One sec, what is it complaining about? Oh yeah, it's complaining in here because we need to define the type again. When you're doing JavaScript, you won't really care about this. Props type expected. We should be working on. Element type is invalid. Let me just see what's going on here. I might have mixed up. Okay, let me just fix this 1 sec. Okay, so I found what the problem is. The problem is you cannot use multiple children. So it only passes into this component here. But I'll show you afterwards. If you do this, basically you get an error. You see? Generally, to be honest with you, in docs they don't advise doing it this way, but I'm just showing you that you can kind of... So you have to remove this basically, and then it's going to work. So you see now the child is receiving the parents' properties from here. So like a good example use case would be, okay, let's say you have a function called click me, right, and it's gonna console log something like hello, no, right? So we want to pass this into our child, which is gonna be my function click me. And then we want to click it in here somewhere. So let's do h1 child and then button click me. I call it from parent. So from parent, and then we're gonna do on click equals like so, like so, like so, and then props my function. We wanna run it. Whoops, I need to save everything. So you see, we have in the parent, child is receiving, it's receiving my property, any value, and then the function. So when we click on the function, your console log is running. So do you understand, like, the principle is that how do you pass properties into a child? And that's how you do it. So one problem is you cannot do, if there is another element like this, it's not going to work. So it's going to fail. You see? And the second thing, you cannot use React fragment to overcome this, because it only passes one level down. So you see, in the child properties are now nothing. That's because this has passed these properties one level down, which is to here, but not to here. So you can, I don't know, you're gonna have to basically create another wrapper component and then redo it again in order to get it in here. But at that level, if you are doing so much property drilling, it's probably better to do it through context or through a store, because at the end of the day, you're trying to pass like one property, you know. And it's... Okay, so I will link this in description below. The GitHub code, so you can see how to do it. Child title, let's just do it this way. Props, what was the name? My prop one. So we save, and then you see we have the child title here, and then everything is working. Okay, take care, bye bye.